Hello to my Virgos. This is Queen Amun Ra coming to you with your general reading. Let's get into it. Let's see what this week looks like for you in terms of expansion. Happy December 1st. Happy new moon. Happy new phase. Happy new cycle. Don't forget to find out what your moon sign is, Virgos, and don't forget to find out what your sign in Jupiter is. That's important, right? That's important. Find out what expansion is for you. That's right. Good luck, good fortune. Let's see what's on the horizon for you. Let's see what this week looks like. Don't forget to get your rest next couple of days. Allow your body to sync with the rhythms of the moon. You just close out a cycle. You're trying to process that last cycle. Let's do it. Let's see what's in your cards. Let's go. First card out the deck, Justice card. Here we also have the Six of Swords. You're trying to just gently move on from some things, you know. You got an ancestor that's helping you to move on from a couple of things, which is a good thing, right? Here's a Justice card. Here's a Six of Swords here. Here's the Nine of Wands. Here's the Four of Pentacles here. Here's a Two of Swords here. Yeah. You're trying to move on from, you know, some things that may have been said to you that weren't so nice, you know. And here's a Six of Cups here. You know, you're trying to do the mirror. You're trying to do the mirror work. Two energies may have said some things to you that just weren't so nice, right? When you do mirror work, after some energy says some mean-spirited things to you, you gotta, so especially people that you love that may have said some harsh things to you, it takes a minute to reset, you know, especially when you let people get that close to your heart and they say some harsh things to you. You need a minute to just kind of, you know, hit a reset button, like, whoa, wait a minute, what did I do to deserve that, right? And so we're in a new cycle. Get some rest. You know, what was said could have made you just kind of like throw you off balance a little bit, right? And especially when you love these energies, right? And you know you got to move on from these energies, right? It's the holidays. Sword energy cuts deep. So there was blood there, right? It cuts deep, right? And you know you got to move on. And it feels like an injustice was done, right? And so when you think about the fact that you may have been fair with these energies and you felt like somebody just like a dagger, you know, like it just cut your skin and there was blood there. And I have to be descriptive there. Something cut deep, you know, as we talk about sword energy. If something made you feel powerless, it made you feel stupid, you know, and so you just said, you know what? But it was enough for you to look back and go, you're not going back. You're not going back to that. It just doesn't serve your highest purpose. So when you look back, that number 9 is death, rebirth. And you got to come out with a headband on, with some short shorts and a jacket, you know. You're not going back there. Nah. It just doesn't serve your highest purpose, right? Here we have the Four of Pentacles. So something has taught you to learn how to be more conservative with your time when it comes to your heart, allowing you to get close to people, you know. So from now on, somebody is learning that if somebody talks to you a certain way, they number 8 of swords you're gonna let them know, hey, you can't talk to me any kind of way. If I don't talk to you like that, you can't talk to me that kind of way. And if you let them know the one time, you know, then there won't be a second time. You're going to number 9 of swords them. That's going to be number 9 is death, rebirth. That means I'm going to end it. That's it. So now somebody's going to start understanding. If you've ever had an Aquarius in your life and people think Aquarius just cut people off too quick, now you're going to understand the mindset. You know, and I'm talking about high vibrating Aquarius, right? Because that's what this is. You understand how Aquarius just cut people, or air sign in general. Sometimes air signs cut a person off like that. Like they cut them off. Like, you know, and so somebody is learning how, like in this connects us with Scorpio. So you may have Scorpio in your birth chart. Somebody may have has a Scorpio in their life, or disconnect with Scorpio is a death, rebirth. Death, once you cut somebody off, and how some people could just move on and come out the house, still got their stuff together, right? And not seeming like it's cold and callous. Cups energy is water. So people may cry behind closed doors. It's not cold and callous. People may be crying their eyeballs out behind closed doors. Come out the house with some sunglasses on. Nose look like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer because they've been crying behind closed doors. But they still got to get up and go to work. They still got to pull it together, right? And so, but nevertheless, respect is respect. You let a person know, I don't like the way you talk to me. You talk to me a certain kind of way. As hard as it may be, I'm gonna have to cut you off. I gotta respect myself. That's not how I would talk to you, so you can't talk to me like that. So I'm gonna have to 9 of Swords this thing, right? I'm not gonna do an injustice to myself. I gotta protect my peace. I can't even look at myself after I let you talk to me like that. So that's what somebody has had to learn when you're talking about loved ones. You love yourself enough. Nah, homie, we can't do that. We can't. No, I love myself. I love me too much. I'm gonna have to cut you off. It is right. It's gonna hurt me to have to cut you off, but I'm gonna have to do it, right? So yeah. So this is Libra. That's all of these cards symbolize a zodiac sign or zodiac signs. That 2 of Swords symbolizes Libra right there. So somebody was kind of like indecisive at first. Somebody was like, oh, I'm not really sure. I'm gonna have to move on. I'm gonna have to kind of sort of follow suit. I'm gonna have to just go ahead and cut some. I'm just gonna have to do it. I 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 cut you off. I cut you off. I cut you off. Cut you off. Cut you off. Right. But and I have to kind of add like a little, as hurtful as it is, I gotta, help somebody move on to the next phase of life is just, because you all are mutable signs. Mutable signs are highly adaptable, right? But there's a place for that too, right? But sometimes you're going to have to let people know you can't just talk to me any kind of way. I'm not going to get caught up in that because 8 is a karmic cycle. I'm not going to get caught up in that karmic cycle of just going back and forth and just letting you talk because it gets worse and worse and worse until you completely lose your identity and people really feel like they can just talk to you like you just the bottom of some, like on the bottom of their shoe. So somebody's now looking back and just going, nope. Yeah, so somebody is definitely cutting ties with just that way of thinking. Somebody is cutting ties with that way of thinking. So we got the 8 of Swords here. 8 of Swords connects us with Gemini. And we're not talking about any Geminis that we know, but you're not sending out. Gemini's energy is a sender energy, right? So you got all of the air energies here. You got Aquarius, you got Libra, and together we got Gemini. So you're not sending out that energy that it's okay for somebody to communicate with you like that disrespectfully. That's anybody. No zodiac sign. It's not okay to talk to you any kind of way. So, because you be doing the last look back. You're not motivated by that. You're not motivated by talking to you like that. There's no growth in that. Kind of cussing you out, talking to you any kind of way. And this is a fire sign, Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. You're not doing yourself an injustice by that. You're not gonna give it any time. You'll be like you'll be spending less and less and less time. You may give them 1 time. They may make it to 4 times. That's a big may, right? And like I said, Scorpio is the death rebirth. We're not talking any Scorpios that you know, right? And that color yellow right there, gold yellow variation of it, speaks to solar plexus chakra. You got a strong core. You got a strong back. You know you will do it. That's the I will sign. I will do it. I'll 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 do it. And there's the sword. I'll cut you off. I'll cut you off. I'll cut you off. Cut you off. Cut you off. Child, next time they call you, they get that answer machine. They'll get your receptionist. Back in the day, that receptionist used to be like, doo doo doo. The number you have dialed has been disconnected. They be watching you from afar. Here's the King of Wands, so you be praying for him. So yeah, so the source is saying to you, something made you get to your throne. Something made you get to your throne and pray for people. But yeah, here we have, yeah, because there's people not gonna cause you no emotional wounding. That's They just gonna have to sit outside your vault door and they just gonna have to know your value. They just gonna have to sit outside your vault door. And again, your 9 of Pentacles. 4 and 5 is 9. 9 again is a death rebirth number. 9 of Pentacles is time is money. You're not giving it any more time. Any more time. You're not giving it any, you're not inspired anymore. You made it to your throne. You're praying for people. You're not giving it any more time. You already got on your boat, your motorcycle, your ship, your bike, your scooter. You already moved on quietly. You're not going off on anybody. You're not telling them off. You're not giving somebody a piece of your mind. You're not doing no black magic, no dark magic. You're not getting caught up in an argument. None of that. You're quietly just moving on. Tower moment. So that's their awakening. That's their awakening. Yeah, you sitting yourself comfortably right on your throne. One arm folded over the other, lips just perched. Like, you don't have time for all of that. Right? You're moving on in childlike faith. You and somebody are moving on in childlike faith. You don't have time for all of that. Yeah. So your anxiety about something will be going away very soon. Your anxiety about something will be going away very soon. Yeah. So you learn how to save yourself. So you and somebody may have already cried about something. You know, you saved yourself. You may have already cried, but you, like I said, you may have cried about something. You moved on from about something. You may have lamented about something, but you've already moved on. You've already moved on. You look back, and now it's time to thrive. Yeah, hair blowing in the wind, whether it's your hair, no hair, you know, somebody else's hair, extensions, it don't matter what it is. Doll baby hair, yarn, it doesn't matter. But you decided to move on. So, High Priestess, Light High Priestess. You're getting your downloads through dreams, feelings, whatever. But you're divinely protected is what I'm seeing here in the card. So, you've already bought into some kind of a fairy tale that could have ended up being a nightmare for you, but you're moving on. And so here we have the Magician card, and you're getting messages. You're getting your downloads. You're getting your messages. So, like I said, you're not doing an injustice to yourself anymore. Somebody knows they have a big heart. They love deep. They love hard. And Aries is involved in something. Like I said, you know, jumping to some conclusions about some things. You decided you're not, like I said, yeah, or somebody who has Aries somewhere in their birth chart, somebody came across as being like this. Somebody gave this impression that they were this savior, like savior complex, like this God complex, like they were saving people from something or giving people this kind of like this, whatever. But moving on. Yeah. You're no longer motivated. Here's a 2 of Wands here. Yep, no longer motivated. Your motivation has definitely changed. Now somebody's motivated to travel. You know, you're kind of sort of at a higher frequency now. One energy in particular you're no longer motivated by. Another one you could be like a little iffy, kind of like, you know, maybe later on down the line you may be praying for one energy in particular. You know, because if there's a younger person involved, you know, you may be praying for that energy, you know, because, you know, but because they were being used as a pawn. But the older energy, no. Yeah. But yeah, the scales from your eyes are completely removed now. You're moving on from something. The interesting thing about snake energy, snake energy, interesting thing about that is the 7 of a lot of times people will say, oh, that person's a snake. You know, in the medical symbol you have the 2 snakes, right? What's interesting about snake energy is people was like, oh, that's a snake. You know, snake outgrows, it becomes bigger, and people think it's negative. But people mention the snake energy when they mention like the snake in the Garden of Eden, like devil energy, right? But they forget about the snake in Moses' staff turning into a snake. They forget about the good snake, right? your kundalini experience or your spiritual awakening, right? That snake, right? The snake serpent power, right? The power of your awakening, right? I had a book on my table. It's called Serpent Power, which is a very powerful book. Your kundalini experience, your awakening, like what happens when you outgrow an environment. Like some things just don't, some things that, you know, they don't serve your highest purpose anymore. You realize, okay, and before you would have just stood there and let somebody just talk to you any kind of way because maybe you bought into some fairy tale and you say, okay, well, you know, I'm supposed to stay here and just live this fairy tale because this is what I signed up for and just put up with this, but not anymore, right? So you got 666. And so now that you've moved on, guess what? You're being demonized just like everybody else who moves on from this. You know, so source is saying, but you're sitting in your, now you're sitting on your throne. Now you have something in common with other people because people jump to conclusions that you would just sit there and just take something. So, but you're not gonna do any justice to yourself anymore. People buy into a whole lot of fairy tales. People buy into a whole lot of fairy tales, right? But you're cutting ties with something. You're cutting ties with something. Yeah. You're cutting ties with something. Like for one, like sometimes people will see things on social media and they say, oh, you know, blended families, everybody's supposed to get together, and just like all blended families come together, you know, exes and their new significant other get together with the exes with their blended family, and everybody get together. You got 25 people getting together and the families all get together and stuff. That may work for some people, and it does work fine for some people, but for some people it really doesn't work. And so, but if it doesn't work for somebody, then it doesn't work. Everybody has to respect everybody's boundaries, right? So you can't force something that doesn't work. And you can't look at some people like, oh, they so hurt and bitter, it doesn't work. If it doesn't work, it just doesn't work. People just have to respect people's boundaries. So source is saying everybody can't jump to conclusions that somebody is bitter and, you know, hateful and all of this, or still hurt. Some things have just, some people just, like I said, are being demonized for something, or that somebody's a evil snake and they got away with something and all of this other mess. People can't be buying into, you know, some kind of a, until you go down that rabbit hole and find out some stuff on your own. And that's just one fairy tale that people buy into, right? People just not going to be talked to any kind of way. There was this show years ago. I think it was on Sally Jesse Raphael's show years ago. Was it her show? She was the talk show host. She used to wear the red rimmed glasses, I believe. And this little boy was they had this mother on there with the little boy. I think he was like a little 4-year-old boy who used to chase his mom around the house with a knife around the house or something like that. And they panned the audience and people were looking at the mother like, how in the world does your little 4-year-old chase you around the house with a knife? And I can't remember exactly. You can probably look it up on YouTube today to kind of sort of see why. But some people have the, and a lot of it is generational. But people judge people for like what but their belief system. Like some people have this belief system about certain things. Well, everybody does not believe the same thing, right? And so, sources saying you got to respect what people, you know, what people believe, whatever their belief system is, you know, and don't overstep boundaries, right? So, sources saying you're leaving me. Things are coming up roses for you. Maybe it's time for somebody to get a dog. You know, maybe it's time for somebody to get a pet. Maybe it's time for somebody to become, you know, a pet mom or pet dad. You know, but the judgment piece, somebody's learning how to heal themselves, like in a very meek way. That's why somebody's learning how to just move on quietly. Somebody's not about arguing. Somebody is not judging anymore about how people move on. Some people just don't want to be talked to any kind of way. And that's what somebody's learning to do, right? Somebody's sitting on their throne, just carefully vetting their thoughts from now on. I'm talking to men and women, by the way. Somebody saw somebody being used as a pawn, and maybe you saw some bloodshed there. Somebody saw somebody being used as a pawn in a game, and they had no power whatsoever. You know, just because somebody saw somebody else thriving and saw somebody, a younger person, being used as a pawn in a game because they were an open book. It may have saw some bloodshed, or maybe you didn't see some bloodshed. Maybe you saw something or whatever, and now you made it to your throne. Like, no, I'm moving on from this. I don't even want to be a part of it. And yeah. So now in this conversation, now the conversation is different now. But now you can get some rest. Somebody's chained to the devil. Somebody's chained to the devil. Now when you see somebody's chained to the devil, and because now somebody's, you know, people just sitting there talking, nobody's doing anything about it. And these are people that say love people. They chained to something, like chained to fear, chained to doubt, scared to leave something behind. And so when you moved on quietly, you moved on quietly. And you see people in survival mode. And that's what Source is trying to tell you, that you're never going back to something. Now, if you saw something and saw how people are chained to people and how people control people and use them as pawns, you're like, oh no, I don't want to be a part of something. So, Daughter of Coins. So, somebody you praying for at this point. Somebody you're praying for at this point. And something about you now have decided, you made a decision now that partnership means partnership. It does not mean somebody talks down to you or you talk down to them. That's a decision you have come through this. A partnership means partnership. Nobody talks down to you and you don't talk down to them. That's what came out of this. Whether they're your kids, you're not talking down to your kids, grandkids, whatever. Use freedom of speech. That's what came out of this, right? That's part of your new legacy. That's part of your social circle now. Nobody's talking down to each other. Nobody's treating anybody differently. Everybody has a voice. They say what they want to say, you know. And so now there's structure and authority now. You're helping people to be more structured and authoritative. You're getting away from people who feel like it's their way or the highway. You know, after seeing what you saw. Or how people keep people chained to them. Just very controlling. And how they carry that burden on their shoulder. Just that, you know, walking around with that burden on their shoulder. That bitterness and that burden on their shoulder. Right? And how they talk to people, and you know how they're mean spirited and all of that. So yeah, you captured all of that. Somebody captured all of that, and just how that comes across. Like they smart at the mouth. They just talk to people any kind of way, right? Talk to their grandkids any kind of, just teach. So it's a whole culture of people who talk to people, just talk to people any kind of way, right? So, yeah. So Source is saying, you know, you're actually, Source is rewarding you for taking the high road and just moving on. Yeah. So you're actually victorious at just getting back in the saddle and moving on. Yeah, you're victorious at just getting back in the saddle and just moving on. So you may be taking a flight somewhere, but you're getting kicked out of something. Somebody don't want you to be a part of something anymore just because you're not going along with the program. So you're not going along with the program, so somebody don't want you to be a part of something anymore. So, oh well. All right. Human rejection is God's protection from something. Who wants to be talked to like they don't matter? Nobody. Close out the cycle in love. Take a leap of faith. More money is coming your way soon. Something is not as deep as you think. Trust your first mind. Your ancestors are very proud of you. It's time to release the burden. Toss it into the burning bowl. Somebody's an incubus. Pray and meditate. Somebody has a very envious spirit, right? And so dream even bigger, listen to your intuition. It's time to heal your wounded self. And so you have somebody has a very bitter ex. And so the answers you seek are coming. Always bet on you. Love up on yourselves even more. You have the gift of telepathy. The spy is now turned on. Should you double back for them? Of course, you already know the answer for that. Third eye chakra cleanse. Don't forget the rest. Don't forget that rest is a form of self-care. Somebody regrets lying to you about something. And root chakra cleanse. Your well of joy is within you. Adjust your crown and then speak it into existence. And it's time to start dating again. See, on the surface, and I'm talking to men and women, but I'm gonna address this separately. So for men, on the surface, it almost looks like it almost looks like it gives men power on the surface. But that pain has to come out of somewhere, right? So that pain has to come out of somewhere. And so what a lot of men don't understand is that if that pain has to come out of somewhere, it's going to come out on somebody. It's going to come out on somebody, whether it comes out on your kids, your grandkids, or whether it's going to come out on you in a very sneaky way, right? It's going to come out on somebody. So while some men think that, okay, it's not going to come, it's going to come out on somebody, right? And for women, it's going to come out on somebody. So that pain has to come out somewhere. You don't have this kind of pain that's just sitting there. It's going to come out on somebody somewhere, right? It can't just sit there. It has to come out, right? We're always in sending and receiving mode. We're always in sending and receiving mode. So when you get a chance to move on quietly and people judge people for, okay, they're rejected, they no longer can come back into something, consider yourself blessed and highly favored. Source just gave you a gift to be able to move on from something. But for those who are still stuck there, please do not judge. Send prayers, because eventually there's going to be an implosion, because that pain is just bubbling. It's just bubbling. It's coming out somewhere on somebody. It's just not going to. That's why you see stuff and people all of a sudden, people are like, oh my God, what happened? Nobody noticed anything. It is sitting right there under people's nose. It's just sitting there. It's just sitting there. It's just sitting there, just like it's sitting on somebody's back. People carrying all this rage and anger and frustration, and everybody's sitting there like they don't just know what's going on. People just judging people. So it's time to release negativity. It's time to release negativity. Time to release the judgment, jumping to conclusions about stuff. It's time to release it. Time to release it. Time to release it. They weak. They just moved on. They didn't do anything. They should have stood up and fought for something. Maybe they did stand up and fight for something, like you stood up and fought for something. But maybe, all that rage would have come out on somebody, on one person trying to stand up and fight up against a whole group of energies. Some people know how to be prayer warriors. So, but look for fairies. You'll see what they are now. You didn't know what a fairy was before. You know what they are now. People who buy into fairy tales. You won't judge it anymore. People buy into fairy tales every day. Surrender. Sometimes learning to surrender can feel as if you're dying. The ego learns what's hardest: to stop trying to control the whole universe. Affirmations for work. I'm grateful that I finished projects in a timely manner. Divine inspiration is flowing into my work today. My work brings me fulfillment, and I love what I do. I love what I do. That's why people should stop hashtagging other people's relationships online. Oh, hashtag, I wish, hashtag relationship goals. You don't really know what's going on in somebody else's relationship. Affirmations for gratitude. I am blessed with this life. I have all that I need. I lack nothing. All is well and I am whole. Each day is a new gift. I am supported. I'm grateful for all that I have. So you want to see somebody that's single and you think they can't keep nobody or that they can't have somebody, they may be very well happy. They may be very, very happy. $33. I am expanding. So that's right. Think about expanding your knowledge of your love language. What is your knowledge of your own love language? Any positive changes or projects that you're considering right now will be worth your while. Expect that your power to manifest and create will be heightened. I do see somebody's expansion of their love language, knowledge of love language it'll be expanded. So that's what I'm saying. Your expansion here is going to be powerful. You're going to learn your love language. And what motivates you? What motivates you? And I do see that's just very, very powerful. That's what I see happening for you. And it's just going to be a very powerful December leading into next year. It's going to be very powerful. Somebody's going to feel very lucky on the horizon here. But this is great. This is great. Great, great, great. You're divinely protected. Like I said before, I see you having a tower moment. You have justice in your favor. You're hashtag winning here. You've left behind a lot of distractions, in your cards here. You've learned how to heal your spirit matters here. I mean, it's just like I said, it's all good. Your reading is just great, but I definitely feel like the judgment is out the window. Like you judging or feeling like you're judging people by some measuring stick is out the window now. I think that's out the window. I definitely feel like you have a lot of opportunities coming your way in terms of working, meeting new people, traveling, because you're back in the saddle again. And so definitely not judging people by how they move on. That's what I have for you. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.